Now, what is the difference between Tai Chi and Qigong? The way I understand it and perceive it in my own practice is Qigong is a wider umbrella. And Qi is that life force, that life energy that runs through us. And the word Gong simply means a focused practice. So you could have a focused practice of cooking. And in the Chinese word, it would be whatever the word is for cooking, Gong. Or Kung Fu, for example, actually means a very heightened level of practice. It doesn't mean an actual type of martial arts. So there's these words that mean to cultivate a high level of practice. Qi, Gong. We're circulating life energy with this focused practice of moving our body in certain ways. Now, Tai Chi then would fall underneath the umbrella of Qigong because it is a type of practice where we're circulating our Qi. It happens that Qigong, we tend to have a movement and we repeat it as many times as we sense that we need, over and over. It is complete unto itself, that movement. And then we go on to another movement and we might repeat it until we feel it's time to move on. Then we close that little chapter. Whereas Tai Chi is a sequence of movements in a prescribed order. So it's more complex because it requires memory and you need to know what comes next, and one flows right into the next. So Tai Chi is a type of Qigong practice, but in my mind it's more complicated and more challenging and a little less accessible because of that many forms, one flowing into the other and in a specific order. This is why I really like Qigong. I like teaching Qigong because I feel like it gives us many of the same benefits as Tai Chi, but it's more accessible. In my world, if I were queen of the world, I would say I would be teaching Qigong primarily. And then for those that really want to take it to the next level and be more challenged, then they could go into Tai Chi. One other question that was given to me is which is more beneficial for balance? And to that end, I do believe that Tai Chi has a little bit more to offer in terms of balance, because you notice that most of our Qigong practice, we are pretty static in our weight bearing, and we don't do a lot of stepping and moving. That being said, I'm sure there are some Qigong practices out there that require more stepping. But Tai Chi absolutely is about stepping and about very mindful weight shift and controlled weight shift and efficient weight shift. Also, both practices really enhance our body awareness, which is a fall prevention strategy. So which one is more beneficial for fall prevention? I would say Tai Chi because of that constant weight shift. Whereas Qigong is more about circulating that Qi and building your body awareness as well. So that, I hope, helps to clarify and categorize a little bit further what the differences are between those practices. To me, the most powerful Qigong practice we do is open and close. And that's what I practice the most, that and standing meditation. That is what I practice the most. As I've got more advanced, I do less and less forms and more Qigong, and it needs less forms. When we're doing the open and close, we're really cultivating and sensing and feeling the energy, that energy. And then can you use that for healing of yourself or others, preferably of yourself? And the reason I say that is because if we are healing others, we're not empowering them. Because I can use my hands and surround someone's joint pain or whatever and create healing. And I don't mean that to be bragging, I'm just saying I've had success with that. But what I'd rather do is empower that person to heal themselves. You have these skills already when you're cultivating your Qi with just simple open and close. If you have a joint pain, try it. Just go there and place your hand over that joint and just have a little faith and you'll be surprised. Yesterday, silly me, I was running through my yard to catch the sprinkler guy next door, and I twisted my ankle. This was at our Wednesday class. Remember I said there's a contractor next door, I have to go catch him? Yep, and so I'm in a hurry. And our yard is very uneven. The builder didn't even it out. And so I forgot about that, and so I'm jogging, and something tweaked my ankle to the point where I could barely weight bear on it. And momentarily I thought, oh my gosh, I can't even weight bear on this ankle. And I don't know, I just refused it. And I just said, go away, I've got too many things to do. And did I send energy there? No, it was just an intent that by the time I walk in the door, it's going to be gone. And sure enough, by the time I came back in the door, it was gone. And it didn't even register that it was gone, which you probably should. The ultimate goal of all of this, I mean, it's fun to move people and send them off and do all this, and it feels wonderful to do this, but it's really self-care, and it's really changing the internal chemistry and creating that healing environment in your body. And I say that because aside from like a little momentary pain and such, going there and being very specific, I don't think that we need to direct the qi. So for instance, if you had osteoporosis, do we direct the qi to our bones? I don't think that we should. I think that we open the channels for the qi, and that is enough. Because I believe that qi it's life, and it's wise, and it knows more than we do. Right now, we think osteoporosis is a result of hormonal changes, but who knows? Maybe it's something else entirely. We don't know where the true etiology of these breakdowns are, and we're just creating a new environment for our body and allowing that qi to not grow because it's there, cultivate, become more resonant. And once it's resonating, then it goes where it needs to go to create healing. And that circles me back to, if we have discomfort, that's not a healing environment for our body or our mind. The whole goal of our Tai Chi practice, one of the whole goals, is to break out of our cycles of discomfort, recognize the tensions, and be able to release those tensions. Things that we're so familiar with our discomfort that we don't even recognize it as discomfort. And to be able to shed that off in layers and layers and layers until we're creating a whole new environment for our body, and we're recognizing and more able to slough off the discomforts, which then opens up the channels more. When we do our different varieties of Qigong, I think the most important thing is the intent. And that's why I liked your questions so much, because that's basically what you were asking, is what is the intent behind all of this? What's the intent behind these things? And sometimes our sensation guides the intent. In other words, some of you have found when we do our Sun style Qigong that it's something there, this essence you can't really describe, but you just know intuitively that this is good for you. And then that generates an intent of pleasure, joy, bliss, whatever. Have an intent behind what we're doing rather than just doing. And that also goes into just regular day-to-day mundane activities. I mean, I find myself rushing through one activity to go to the next activity, or chore. But just assigning some intent behind it, like I'm going to wash these dishes, and I'm not going to rush to the next task. I'm just going to feel the warmth of the water and feel the squeaky clean and feel like I'm just creating a nice cleaning out ritual. And then it's reframed. So can washing dishes be a Qigong? Absolutely. Yeah. So I really think it all boils down to the intent.